Roy, come over. Gotcha.
Right. Do this real quick.
Yeah, I also created a budget book. I know sometimes it's gonna be hard to show it once you got the merge thing, so but
Okay.
I'll do it. Yeah, know where to pause that right there. How long would this be for? And make sure you're always on. Hey, Mr. Ron,
Yes, we are going live.
how long
30
is
seconds,
it
not
gonna
even,
be?
not even 30 seconds. We are one. All right, here we go. All right, good morning, everybody. Good morning. I got this young lady that reached out to me, and she went back and told me when we met. It was at a barbecue place. That was a while back, but I'm glad she remembered to everything, and she hit me up, I think, last Friday. And I said, oh, okay, sounds good. So smart me. I thought I sent out the invitation Friday. I looked up. I didn't send it out, so I sent it out this morning for you for the Zoom. And so we got Miss Richardson on here, and she's got a lot to talk about. Introduce yourself and your son.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. You're the best karaoke DJ. That's what I always use. And one of your many things you do. My name is Patricia Richardson, and I have with me my son. Richardson.
Okay, so what we were talking offline about some things that you have going on. So let's hit up on your part about was it about finance literacy?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
I'm excited to be in my nonprofit Empower Hub will be presenting their first event, and we're going to do our kickoff with our financial literacy summit during Dream Week. That is January 11th at the Carver Community Culture Center over on the east side. It's going to be at the Little Carver. It's going to be epic. It's going to be something that you've never seen before. A fun way to talk about money. One fun way to talk about money is to use like game shows. So with Financial Literacy Summit, we're talking about money. When I talk about generational wealth, it has been a buzzword that a lot of us been speaking about. But what is that? How do you really break down generational wealth? How do you really explain that to your children and to your family so you can set generational wealth up? Well, the first way is through financial knowledge. Financial knowledge is through literacy. Because if we don't talk about finances, then all we're going to do is create generational debt.
That is so true because with the African Americans, we don't do that as often as other groups do. They make sure they pass things down to the family to make sure that wealth is always there. And we seem to be always struggling from one generation to another. And then those who do make it, I hate to say this, don't want to share. They don't want to do anything. How did you make that money? Can you help me out? We're not asking for you to put money in our pocket. We're asking you, how did you do it? So we could teach our kids and our grandkids. And sometimes we run across that roadblock among our own.
Yes.
And we shouldn't be doing that. We should be able to have, like you're doing right now, to let everybody know this is where you start off at. Now, I
Yes.
knew when I was growing up, we were always told, put $5 back all the time, put this back, put this back. We never knew what they were talking about. As
Mhm.
years go by, all that money you putting back, you're not touching. You say, oh my God, I
Yes.
raised all this. So it
Mhm.
starts off when you a child, when you teach your kid how to save money. And so How do we go back? How we go about that to how can I put it? Fix that cycle.
Awesome. That's the main reason why I'm so passionate about this because our parents failed us and not in a bad way, right? They did not know. I did not know. I growing up, no one sat down. Just like you said, my mom was a saver. She was a little sneaky saver. She saved and put stuff under the bed, and but she didn't teach me that. I knew that she saved, but she didn't say, Patricia, this is how much you need to put up. This is 10% of your income that you should be putting up. And this is the reason why a rainy day, an emergency. Most of us are going to have an emergency, whether it's your tire getting a nail on it because all the different things that road work, this constructions that's happening, your window getting bust, your windshield getting bust by a rock, maybe your water pipe bust, freezing because of now January and February coming. So these is what emergency fund helps with. It doesn't always just help with automatically making sure you can pay your rent, which is that's the first thing. But the main thing is to make sure you have that emergency fund so you don't have to be stressing all the time. But how do you do that, right? You do that by learning to manage your money because you have to know how much you're bringing in and how much you're spending. So that can help you identify how much can you really put over to the side. A lot of us are living outside of our means because, like you said, not only are we sharing information about how to build our wealth, we're also showboating in front of each other. So we're the main ones that we're going to an event. We got to get the best suit for someone else who we don't even know what their financial situation looks like. So we're always trying to outlook each other, but instead we should be sharing that information. And I do believe that some of our people, some of our black and brown people who have made it, they tend to become a gatekeeper. And it's such a shame because that information should be shared. So the first way that we go about it is taking our children and understanding that they don't know. Same way we had to teach them how to tie their shoes, the same way we had to teach them how to go to the restroom the proper way, is the same way that we need to sit down with them and teach them about money. You asking for that haircut that you get every 2 weeks, son. That haircuts now cost, because you know how much men haircuts cost now. Well, I see you're kind of bald, Mr. Ron, but haircuts today is about $45, $50. Okay. And so I'm happy that my son, because we talk about money, he goes to a friend and get his haircut for like $25. But again, that's $25 every 2 weeks or weekly. Let's just say weekly. So that's $100 a month. So that's just that one thing you're asking me for. And this is something that you're going to have to pay for yourself in the future.
Right.
So, and then now our kids, we're using charge cards. Remember, Mr. Ron, back in the day, we would get, our parents would give us cash. So we knew that you should not break a 20 or 100 unless you don't want that whole thing gone.
Right.
Don't break it, right?
Yeah, that is so true. And you're right
Our
about
kids are
that.
living on plastic.
Yes. Who was that song? Temptation, Plastic Man or something. But you're right because we learn how to count our money, how to save our money when the cash was in our hands. We learn how to do that. Now we're in a society where everything is instant. You don't know. How many of you know how to balance a checkbook?
That
Now
part.
they just swipe the card, and if when they find out they broke, okay, I can't buy this. That's
Hmm.
no form of savings.
No.
When I was growing, well, lately, being grown, I understood the emergency. So we always kept money back, emergency fund. We kept money back for at least 3 months. So if
Yes.
something happened, at least you had your rent, grocery, gas, all that paid for.
Hmm.
But somebody
Hmm.
asked me a question one time. It was a good question. Okay, so if I need, let's say, $5,000 worth of emergency funds, how do I get that started? Do I put $5,000 in? And I said, do you have $5,000? He said, no. Well, you look at your paycheck. I start off putting $100 back all the time. Each time
Hmm.
I got paid twice a month. That's $200. So I
Yeah.
started with that and started, and no, and once I started, I didn't miss it. The
Hmm.
key is, oh man, I could use that. But if you start doing it faithfully every 2 weeks, you don't miss it.
That's
And
true.
then you look at it, starts adding up. By end oh wow, I saved this. You keep on,
Hmm.
barring nothing happens. By the time 2 or 3 years come around, you got that 5,000 saved up already.
Yes.
Just keep on putting into it. But I was
Yeah.
telling them the most difficult time is to get started and have the patience and be consistent on doing it.
Yes. Yes, and just like you said, consistency is the main thing. And most of us, this is a habit that we actually we don't realize that we can become addicted to once we get started. So once you get started with saving, like you said, you start saying, wow, I saved this much. Then you start challenging yourself, by yourself, like saying, oh, well, you know what? I'm going to see if I can double that amount. And so that's that beautiful part. So like you said, once you get started, and this is a perfect time to get started, especially to our youth around this time, and even to our seniors, right? To even to my age group. I just got a bonus, right? So you get a bonus. That's not something you were expecting. Perfect timing. Go save
Thank
it.
you.
Go save it. You wasn't
Yes.
expecting. But guess what? Half of the people that work with me, they was already thinking like, oh, I can go buy three more gifts. That's not what you do. You don't go
Mm-mm.
buy three Christmas gifts. And I told him, I said, okay, let's just say you want to, because that makes you feel good. Can you at least take 100 of that and put it to the side? Remember, you wasn't even expecting it. And that's what I'm
Yeah.
starting with my son. That's why I brought him on with this as well, because with the Financial Literacy Summit, like I was explaining to you prior to, I'm bringing in the the quarter zip trend that's going on. And so that's just one piece, just as us bringing the youth together. And I love standing behind our youth. With 20 years of child protective service, as a child protective service worker, I just really feel like our children are our future, and we cannot give up on them at all. So what I started with my son, I'm not a keen on, I'm not big on rewarding a child for chores, because these are things, again, you're going to have to do even once you're out of my home, washing
Mm-hmm.
dishes, washing your clothes, and so forth. So I'm not for that. For the longest time, I never gave him allowance for those things, but I've always made sure that he did them. This time I said, okay, he's 18. What can I do now? And I really want him to focus on getting out of school. He's a senior. So, what can I do to really help him understand the true concept of money, to really put down the work of what we're working on when I'm managing the money with them? So, now I decided I'm going to give him $88 a week. Now, that is with the dishes have to be done 7 days a week for him to get that $88. Now, if he does not do the dishes on one of them nights, which he tends to get docked a few times, I dock him $15, teaching
Ooh.
them two habits. First and foremost, when you get money, how to utilize your money. The second thing is, most importantly, is if you're working for someone and you're not showing up, you will get docked. So that's going to take away from your money. So if you like getting $88, I think you should show up every day. So
So,
those are those two things I'm teaching them with
well, I'm
that.
gonna ask a question for this young man right here. I'm gonna ask. So, if your mama dock you $15 for you not doing nothing, what does she do with that $15? What do you think your mama
Good
do with that?
question. That I actually do not know. Me, I think she would keep it, showing that, as she said, like docking it, they would keep that money. Like if I was a manager or a boss of a business and I docked somebody, I would keep that money because they lost it because they didn't do their job correctly. So that's what she's showing me as far as a person I'm working under her, like that.
Well, that's a good lesson right there. But $88, you know what? I applaud you for $88. The reason why I said that is that's an odd number. And kids remember that odd number or anything else. Just remember, if let's say go moving forward in the future, your son has some kids. You know what your grandma used to do? She paid me 88. Why $88? I don't know. We need to answer that question. But I think that's a nice number because a number like that, you're gonna remember that $88, no matter what goes on. I'm sorry, but young man, you stuck with $88 in your head for the rest of your life. Because once that is, you hear 88, you're gonna automatically think of your mom because that's a number that. Now, where'd you come up with that number anyway? 88.
So happy you said that, right? So, because I don't mind being direct and personal with people here, because I'm real, right? So here it is. He gets child support. I get child support for him, right? So most people, because I know men don't like to When you start saying child support, they automatically get so upset about that. That's a whole nother conversation. I'll come back and have that meeting with you. But however, as your children are getting older, child support can stop, right? So child support, once he finished school, if he doesn't continue with college and so forth, his child support will stop. So now it's like, let him see how this is going to make a big difference, and how I'm already, like, this is that extra money that I already have, that I feel that I can allocate to him. This is just partial of the child support, but I take that partial of the child support and say, hey, I'm going to give it to him so he can, for right now, I don't really want him working while he's in school. He has worked for the Dollar Tree. He is a hard kid, does cut the grass and so forth, but I want him focused on school. And because when I was growing up, I had to work and so forth when I was in school. And I don't want to do that. I didn't want to raise my children doing that. I did want him to really enjoy what high school is and so forth. So the
Right.
$88 is basically 354 divided into 4 weeks. So that's
Okay.
really how simple it is.
All right. That's a nice way of putting it. When you're talking about putting things to the side, my wife is getting to retire tomorrow from her second
Ooh,
job. I retired already, and
okay.
years ago we established the rainy day fund and vacation fund. So what we do, we take a little bit of each month and put it into each one. So when it's time for us to go on vacation, we know how much money in there for us to go on vacation and
Hmm.
stuff. So that's how we've been doing things, and we've been breaking things down. And to make a long story short, she's a financial person of this relation of this marriage. It only could be one person, and a lot of people don't understand that because you can't have two people running finance in the house because
Hmm.
you're gonna hit against the walls. My all I do is give them my check and I go on my merry way. I don't worry about nothing. I do my part. Boom, 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 boom. Well, like you said, most women learn how they know how to save and put money to the side.
Hmm.
About 5 years ago, she said, "How you feel about paying off your truck?" I said, "Can we?" She said, "Yeah, all what you've been getting, I put to the side. Paid off the truck." I said, "Cool. I'm not
Hmm.
worried about it." 2 years later, how you feel about paying off the house? We got money because I don't see it. She said, "Sure we do." And it's paid off. I'm sitting back here, I'm smiling from ear to ear, and I'm saying, is this what life is all about when you get up in our age, the baby boomers? You get up there, but there are so many baby boomers who did not plan for the future for some reason, which I want to talk about blue collar and white collar workers.
Mm.
Blue collar workers are mainly entrepreneurs and they
Mhm.
work construction work and all that stuff where there was no 401k back then or
Mhm.
any retirement plans. But white collar workers always had a retirement plan. So if you look at most of the blacks are blue collar workers. I'm just going to say we
Mhm.
most are because we're hard workers. This is what we do.
Mhm.
It hasn't been too recently now that we got retirement plans. But look at the baby boomers. We didn't have none of that offered to us.
That's so true. That is so true. That's the reason why we have to be so vigilant on educating our youth, educating ourselves. The reason why is because remember, back in the day, they would say, get a state job and retire from it. And most people will retire like at about 45, 50. They'll have their pension, they'll have their 401ks, they'll be good. That is not the situation now. We need to know that we need to put our money into high yield savings accounts with 3.8%, with 4.0%. We need to learn to put our money into CDs, into investment, into stocks, into mutual funds, into things that can help our money make money for us. Those are the things that we need to learn because in today, what's about to happen in the future, blue collar are about to be our next millionaires, our future millionaires.
Mm-hmm.
Trades are picking up. I'm currently a career coach at Project Quest. Project Quest, we help individuals with getting their certification, whether you are freshly out of high school or you want to change your career and you're 40 years old or up. So will help you with that. So with that being said, we are mindful that trades, electricians, plumbers, welders, all of them, because if you notice, our parents and so forth, they're retiring from those jobs. So now they need to build. So while we're all speaking about AI and so forth, that's not going to be the only thing that is going to be making people wealthy. So the first thing you need to do is it doesn't matter whether you're making 20,000 or 100,000. If you do not know how to manage your money, you'll still be in the same situation.
That point right there. It doesn't matter. Never to live beyond your means. And something you said earlier, and it finally came to me is we sometimes trying to keep up with the Joneses.
Yes.
Because if you remember when subdivisions, housing first came to being, people moving in next door, your neighbors, you try to keep, he got a new car, I'm going to get a new car. She got this,
Yes.
I'm going to get this. And we're living beyond our means, and we need to stop that
Yes.
because that's something else.
Yes.
You know,
Yes. I want. Mhm.
go ahead. You can ready to introduce your son?
Yeah, I was going to, but no, you were going to say something. I was going to tell about my son, on how one thing that I've learned, right, that I put to test. I wanted to see if it really worked. Because some of this, I'm also testing it out because a lot of this information I have been learning as I'm going. This is someone who purchased a home, owns several businesses, and I'm learning as I go. And some of the times, most of the time, I will cry to myself and get so upset and be like, I wish I would have known this earlier. I
Yeah.
wish my family would have told me. I wish I would have known that building my credit score meant so much when it's time to sit down and go get a mortgage. Get the car. Like
Yeah.
cars, we love cars. But when it's time to get a mortgage, how that interest rate plays a big effect on your
Ooh.
monthly payment.
Yeah.
Just all those things. I wish someone would have told me. So what I decided to do is let me put a test to this. So I made my son an authorized user on my credit card. I always thought that I needed to have like a credit score of 900 or 800. I didn't even have that at the time when I did it. And now because of that, my son has a credit score of 750.
How much?
750.
All right.
And so that's just simply by making him an authorized user. So I have a financial literacy class every third Tuesday of the month via Zoom. I will also share these links with you. And this is where we just get together and talk. And we share information. So while I was telling someone that doing a financial literacy course, I also mentioned about what I was telling them that I put my son as an authorized user at age of 16. Well, you can put your child as an authorized user as early as age 13.
Wow, I did not know that. Wow.
And so I would like for my son, if he can just speak on like how he felt when I when I told him that. So at first I was
Excited,
excited,
but
but
also
also
didn't
didn't know
know like
like
much
much
about
about
it
it
at
at
that
that
time.
time.
But
But
my
my
mom
mom
was
was
definitely
definitely
excited.
excited.
She
She
went
went
around,
around
everywhere
everywhere
we
we
go,
go.
she
She
tell
tell
her
her
friends,
friends,
"Oh,
"Oh,
my
my
son
son
got
got
750
750
credit
credit
score,"
score."
and
And
I'm
I'm
like,
like,
I'm like, I'm not thinking of it because it's like it's oh okay cool, and so and like actually telling me about how like this can help me with purchases far as like loans and this business wise as well. I'm starting to understand more like okay, this is very important, this is good, like this is a very good thing I should have under my name, especially as a black person. This is definitely making a statement, um just making a statement, and yeah.
Wow. See, that's see, this is what I'm talking about. Now you're teaching things to everybody out there so they know how they can do things, which is what we lack on educating the public, our black youth, because that's our future. And they have to know how to handle the money that comes their way. And, and some of the troubling is our black athletes out there nowadays. They're getting all this money,
Mhm.
and you think is that? So I looked up on that, on the money that they're getting. Do you know? Let's say $1 million. I'm gonna throw that number out there. You know, out that $1 million, once that athlete goes pay in California, you got to pay those taxes. Illinois, New York, every state they have a
Mhm.
state income tax, they got to pay for that each time they go. It's taken out. So that person making $1 million that you seen that contract for, maybe bring home $400,000 after taxes are done. And
Mhm.
that's why I say for any athlete that's going to make it out there, you must take a business course to understand, because you're getting overwhelmed with these big old contracts and money. You got to know
Mhm.
how that money is going to work for you, because there are so many out there right now that are dead broke right now,
That's so true.
all because they
That's
don't
so
know how to
true.
take care of the money.
And here's the other thing too. Podcasters. Podcasters and influencers and content creators, they're making really good money too. So our children are walking out the gate, running out, like leaving our homes or even sitting in our homes, sitting in their rooms, making about $80,000. The things that we fought to make
Yeah.
as over 30, 40 years, they're coming out of school or they're in school right now having $100,000 come through their hands. You're excited that your kid is doing well on Twitch because your kid took off on Twitch. My son's on Twitch and he's building his brand over there. You know, I was speaking to some other content creators and he said to me, he said, "Thank you so much for spending time with me and talking to me about my money because I do not want my second chance when I blow up my new channel again. I do not want my second. I want my second chance to be the right way of me utilizing my money in a proper way."
Right.
Because what I want my son to understand is whatever he decides to be, whatever career he goes into, I want him to live within his means and preferably below his means. That is the first practice that I have to teach him. Because again, we as parents, we got to realize we're raising our children to our standards right now. So
Right.
how are you preparing them to leave the home so they can either stay on your level of how you're already raised now? Because remember, most of us, my son is living off the fruit of my labor. So I said to myself, hey, no, I don't want to live in a home with roaches. I want to live in the suburbs. I want to live good. I want to drive nice. I want to eat well. So guess what? He's just on, like he's just on the passenger seat enjoying it. But
Yeah.
can he really sustain this once he gets out, once he leaves? Does he really know what this looked like to sustain it? So what I'm trying to do is position him in a way to where, okay, you know what, you can afford an apartment if you want to, but here's what I'd like for you to do. Let's consider getting your credit score together. Let's consider getting you a savings, getting you some investments, building you a nice portfolio. So then now, when it's time to get you a home, a place to stay, why don't we try a duplex or a fourplex? Why,
Yes.
why you can't have that? Why you can't have already building on that home and preparing to where now you're getting cash flow for them other apartments? How about
Yeah.
mommy want to come stay on one of those apartments? We Airbnb one of them out. You know why? There's programs for youth, for young adults.
There is. There's a bunch of programs. You know, you touch base on something about kids going out there getting things. Um, I use this one approach. Is it a need or is it a want?
Awesome.
And my son looked at me, what do you mean by that? Do you want it because somebody else got it? Or is it need because you really need it? You
Mm-hmm.
know, because a want is something to me is like keeping up with the junk. I want that. I want this something new to come
Yes.
out. I want this. Why? Why do you
Yes.
want that? How are you going to use it? And once I break things down, you know, also, so let's say you got a want. So you're going to
Mm-hmm.
spend, I'm going to throw out a number out there, $1,000 on this new video game system because it's brand new. If you wait 6 months, the whole system be down to $600.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you don't need it that bad. You don't want it that bad. But society got us living in a microwave society that we have
Oh,
to get it.
yes.
And that's society dictating to us on what we should do, with you coming along saying, no, you don't have to do that. You can wait for that. I was
Yes.
I was brought up the old school way. You saved and then you got it. Because once you
Mm-hmm.
saved and you got it, you appreciate that more because you saved your
Mm-hmm.
hard-earned money to buy that.
Mm-hmm.
And nowadays, nobody appreciates anything. Like instant gratitude. Here, I'll take this. Then look in the corner. It's sitting there for 6 months. You use it one time, sitting over there.
That's exactly what happens. And I come from a generation of we deserve it. I deserve it. I work hard. I stressed all day. I went and worked on it all day. I spent 40 hours doing this. I deserve it. That's why I'm gonna do it. And that's when I realized, you know what? Let me picture I have my book that I'm trying to show, but my Journal of Budget to Success book. And this book, it teaches me. I created this book because it's a monthly book where you just go inside and you write down your income, you write down your expense items, your subscriptions, your weekly purchases. I even have a section here for pets because people spend a lot of money on their pets as well. And the main thing at the bottom, it says your total income, your total expenses, and what's leftover funds. And that speaks to just what you were saying, Mr. Ron, the needs and the wants. How do we really say that to ourselves? Because we can say all day that I don't, this, I need this, right? And then I can pitch it to you all day, like, Mr. Ron, I really need this though. See, because if I get this game's going to help me with my Twitch, and this Twitch is going to help me, Okay, cool. And you'll be like, okay, son, that's great. But let's look at your numbers. Did you fill your emergency fund? Can we go into your emergency fund for that? How are we going to do that to where you're not going to put yourself in the hole? To where, and this purchase is not going to affect anything else. If something else was to come down like 2 months down from 2 months from now, are you going to need to borrow 500 from me? Because if not, then you should. That's not a need, right? That's not a need. You can't afford it because it's okay. Everyone's not broke, and I don't want everyone to think that finances is only when I'm like broke. No, it's actually even if you're making really good money. This is actually the roadmap to financial freedom to manage your money. So if you're writing down your expenses and you really know what you're having, how much is coming in and how much is going out, that helps you make those sound, educated decisions. So yes, go buy the game. I tell my son all the time, you want that BMW, I want you to have it too. But I want you to ensure that you can afford it. Truly, truly afford it.
I'm glad you said something about cars. I'm so glad you said that. A lot of young kids want these cars that's way out there and all this stuff, but they got to go in looking at the maintenance on them cars, the insurance on them cars. Some of these cars you can only take to the dealership for them to do with, and they poke your eyes out. See, they look good, sounds good. You're gonna spend that money for that car, but you're also gonna spend that money for the upkeeps for that car going to that
Mhm.
dealership. And certain cars are labeled sports cars,
Yes.
even though they're not a sports car. They're a luxury
Mhm.
car now, but back in the days, they were sports cars. So you look at
Mhm.
your insurance and wait a minute, this is a sports car? So there's a lot of young kids out there running around. They want a Bentley. Oh, let me tell you the price of a Bentley getting no oil change. Let me tell you the price of a Bentley for that 100,000 mile maintenance or $50,000 maintenance. That is not cheap when they go out and do that.
Yes.
So you better go get you a regular car. I'm just saying because the money out there for maintenance, and let's jump into a house too. A
Mhm.
lot of people think, oh, I buy a house, I got this and that. But you know what? The house is like your body. And
Yes.
my son said, what do you mean by that? You got to do upkeeps all the time. You do upkeeps with your body to make sure you eat
Mhm.
the right food, to make sure you go to the doctor, make sure you do all that. When something breaks
Mhm.
down in your house, you don't have a landlord to pay for it. You have to.
That's true.
So
Yes.
there's a lot of things that they don't realize, and it's not hidden cost. Let me get that right out there. That cost is right there in front of you. Nothing hidden about that
Yes.
cost. But the look on people's faces, like my son got his
Mhm.
first job. He got his
Okay.
first check. He added up how much he was getting. He said, Dad, who's FICA? I said, welcome to the real world, son. Sit down here and let me explain to you what FICA is. And he said, you mean the government? I said, see, people think the church get the first 10%. It's the government. That's how I explain. It's the government get their
Yes.
piece first.
Yes. Yes.
So, but it's funny watching the youngsters. They get their first job and first check, and the first thing they ask, "Who's FICA?"
Also to answer your point, what I definitely learned from her is definitely when you're spending your money, when what you're spending, can you make the money back, or can you make more back with that money that you just spent? So like with the gaming, with the car, as a car, my mom talked about it, was about a truck. I can use a truck to to mow lawns, and put a lawnmower in there, and to go to different houses, mow lawns, to make more money out of what I spent. And so that's definitely one thing that definitely also helped me, and learned as well with the with buying stuff.
Mhm. And so what he's saying is he just got his driver's license, and I was pushing him to get his driver's license because most of us parents are dealing with this right now. Remember back in our day, we was rushing to get our driver's license as soon as we could get them.
Yeah.
Now the kids today, they're not rushing because they're spoiled. They can get in the Uber, they can get in the Lyft, and we take them everywhere, And we do a lot of this because we became helicopter parents because of course, with the state of the world is in, people getting snatched up and all these different things going on. So parents have said, as much as I want to allow you to just go free, like how we grew up being free, we're still a little nervous and we're not going to allow that but so much. So because of that, that allows us to have that string on them and doesn't allow them to grow just as much as we have. Like, as you noticed back in our day, we'll go out there, we didn't have no cell phones, and I guess our parents just trust the world that we'll come home every night. And we did for the most part.
Yeah.
But
That's
now,
true.
you never know. Kids are getting taken every day, right? Yeah, so because of those things now, because one parent was saying, why is that? Why is that? And it's because of all those different reasons that they have. So now my son got his driver's license, he's ready to drive and he wants a car. So I'm like, well, you want a car, but hey, when you need to get some gas money for that car, I don't think a car is going to help you do that unless you're an Uber driver or something like that, and they even
Right.
have age restrictions. Okay, so so I said it'd be best. You already mow lawns and so forth. We have a lawnmower. I suggest you consider getting a vehicle that can make you money. And so once again, parents, I don't have I feel like I'm raising a unicorn, but you could be raising a unicorn too by simply having money talk. I use every time that I'm taking him to school in the morning, and he doesn't like it all the time, but every time that I'm taking him to school in the morning, picking him up from somewhere, we're going to talk about that. We're going to turn that music down. You're going to turn your phone off for a second, and we're going to talk about some things. And those things that we talk about is what you're mentioning, Mr. Ron, about those sporty cars and about understanding some of the things you can't fight against, that they are going to be charged more health, a larger amount for health car insurance because of their age, because they're
Right.
black, because they're male, because you have a red car, because you have a sporty car. I mean,
Hmm.
the world's out here just getting our money. So you got to learn
Yeah.
how to manage your money because other than that, you'll be giving it to everyone else.
You ain't kidding. And, I like what the young man said. Like I said, I'm getting money, but in order to make money, I have to put things out to do, pay for things to make the money, like the gas for your lawnmower and all that stuff. So let's look at this. Like, let's say you need gas for your truck, but you got 6 lawns to do. You got your money right there because it's making you money. You put money right back into it, and everything. And that's what some people don't look at. They don't look at the long term. They look at the short term. Sometimes the short terms work, but if you do the long term of doing that. Let's say you brought in $150 a day, but at the end of the week you need $307 to pay for something. Well, you got that in 2 days, and then the other 3 days is pure profit that you're putting up.
Mm-hmm.
Some people will take that pure profit and go blow it.
That part.
Yeah, there's money that's burning a hole. As we said back in the day, that's burning a hole in your pocket. You just got to
Yes,
spend it. And I,
yes.
I find myself sometimes, being the business that I'm in, I know I need equipment, but do
Mm-hmm.
I really need it right now? I do the pros and cons. Do I really
Yes,
need it?
yes.
What I'll do, I'll start off with the small things that I need. That
Mm-hmm.
that 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 really, a lot of people look at some of the small things you need for something really runs the operation because something small. Then I lead up to the big thing that I need. So I look at it that way. Like, there's a lot of things that I want. Boy, there's a lot of things what I want. But I look at that price and I said, is it a need or a want? So it's on the back burner because
Mm-hmm.
that's I don't know if you remember the catalogs just come out during Christmas. You all
Yes.
look at the catalog. We
Oh,
call that
yes.
our wish list. I wish I had this. I wish I had that. But you have to decide to yourself: do you really need it? Do you really want it?
Mhm.
And being grown up, it's a harder decision to make when it's with comparing being a youngster. Because your mind is telling you, I'm grown. I worked my whole life.
Mhm.
I'm gonna go ahead and get this. 6 months later, why did I get that? I could have waited.
So
because
true.
because not only with the younger generation out there, the older generation have to think too. Because I'm gonna make this point, and I hope somebody's listening. You go out, you spend over $1,000 the weekend at a club.
Mhm.
You do that every weekend. Times that by four, you could have saved.
Yes.
It's times that by four. Then you could go on that vacation. You get something
Yes.
that you really want. But if you go out
Mhm.
and blow that money like that, and you just blowing it and all that stuff, then later on in life, you figure out,
Mhm.
I don't have nothing to live on now. But for 8 years, you've been spending
Mhm.
$1,000 a week going out partying. I can't figure that one out. It goes over my head because maybe I'm conservative or what, but I'm not doing that.
I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. But I know people who do it. So I,
Yeah.
I tell you, and the people who do it, who have it, kudos. That's great. But unfortunately, the people who do it is the one who don't have it. The people who are all out here getting the Louis Vuitton bags and so forth is the ones who don't have it. You have to first and foremost, like money. It's like money, health. I always feel like health is wealth. So you need to work just as much as we're worried about our health, which we should be every day, we should be worried about our wealth because financial freedom is what we're really all going for
Yes,
the most part.
I
But
agree.
and what does that look like for each one of us? Some of us don't want to live in a big mansion. So not all of us want to live in a big mansion. Like during our financial literacy call, one thing that I ask people, how much do what's your goal? What's your dream of how much you want to make? And most people say, I want to be a millionaire. And so I ask them, how much? Most people don't know what that is monthly. So
Mm,
you don't want to be a millionaire if you don't even know what it is monthly. If you can't
yeah.
even identify what that is weekly, what that is going to be biweekly, then you don't want to be that. Most people just want to be 100,000 there, 400,000 there. 100,000 there, 120,000. That's $10,000 a month. Let's just say right now your rent is just $3,000. So now you have $7,000 you can play with.
Mm-hmm.
Not to go just with the $1,000. Let's say out of 6 months, say out of 12 months, you want to do that twice a year. That's okay. That can be because again, we all have different habits. We all have different things. Some people are foodies, so they spend all their money out eating. Some people like to buy little gadgets and different things. So everyone have their little addictions. And
Yeah.
in this world with finances is not it's basically to be able to manage your money so you can live the life that you want to live. The first thing I heard you say, Mr. Ron, is you gave as a smart man, you gave that information to your wife. You let her take the wheel about the finances, and look how you took. The first thing I heard you say was you were smiling ear to ear with things just getting paid off. That
Mm-hmm.
financial freedom right there, because people make a lot of money, but they have so much debt. Y'all sitting over
Oh,
there
yes.
free, debt
Mm-hmm.
free. So people
Yeah.
who make a lot of money and pulling up with the Maseratis, they'll probably pretty soon be asking you to borrow some money from y'all while
I'm
you're
so
driving a Toyota, right?
I'm so
So,
glad you said that. It was this one guy. I bowl all the time. This one guy said he made it. He made it. So I'm listening to him. Everybody saying, "Ooh and ah, I got a $700,000 house. I got Mercedes. I got a Volvo. I got jet skis. I got all that. I made it." And I looked at him. What you mean you made it? Man, look at what I got. I said, "You didn't make
mhm,
it. You made yourself in debt." But you,
yes.
you don't make it until you finish paying all of it. So what happens if you get sick? What happens if you get sick? Who's going to pay all those bills? Man, you don't know what you're talking about. And I said, well, I made it. He said, what you mean? I said, I'm debt free. I don't owe nobody anything. I made it. And he looked at me, he said, well, Well, do you have a big old house? I said, I have no kids anymore living with me. I have grandkids. We don't need a house with 6 bedrooms and 4 baths and all that stuff. We just got a ranch style house, nice and
Yes,
simple, and I'm
yes.
comfortable where I'm at. I don't need a house like that. And so the conversation shifted right away where he was starting getting angry. And I
Mm,
was trying to tell him, you don't make it until you debt free. You're in debt for another 30 years or beyond. But yet, you one job, if you lost your job, you lose maybe everything that you have right now that you built up for. So,
yeah.
and my oldest son is into mortgage with a bank. He's the one to give that death blow. Say, you can't afford this house. Well, I'm making all this. I'm making all. No, the ratio writer is saying you can't afford it,
Yes,
and people
yes.
get upset. Well, I'm making four and something thousand dollars a year. Yeah, but you dishing out almost 300 some $1,000 a year. You can't afford this house, and they don't understand that,
No.
and
And I
that's
wonder
sad.
why.
What's
And I
that?
wonder why. And I
Yeah.
wonder why. It probably have to go back to maybe their parents or someone didn't teach them. And we already know financial literacy is not taught into the schools. I do know that they're working on those things. That's why I'm working on a course right now. I'm finalizing it. So I would love to present it to the school districts,
Oh
because I do
yes.
find that we need to, this is something that needs to be talked about, but it also needs to be spoken in a fun way. Everything doesn't have to be so like, I don't like that. I like to laugh. I like to
Yeah.
have a good time. I think you should spend no more than 30 to 40 minutes on your finances. I think when it starts to make you so upset or, uncomfortable, you should step away. Don't go reward yourself with anything,
Mm-mm.
especially if you're in the negative. But just step away from a second and come back to it. Because how I got into this is when I didn't see the light at the end of the tunnel initially. I
Yeah.
remember sitting down with a mentor of mine at the time, and her name was Phyllis Hollywood. And at that time, I was living above my means. I had a state job. I was making $100,000. You couldn't tell me nothing. I had them in daycare. I had my Cadillac. just purchased my home, and so I was like, okay, I'm doing it. But then, of course, like you said, I didn't get sick, but I can't remember, something happened financially where it kind of like put a little dent into the situation. So before you know it, now here I am with the car note. I got the child care, I got the mortgage, and I'm doing it all by myself. She sat me down, and when we did my budget, just with this budget book, all these things that's in here, when we did my itemized my expenses, we saw that I was negative 500. Now, now here's the light. I saw the negative 500 now. So then it's like, okay, what can I do? I'm already strapped for time. I'm working. I don't see how I can bring any extra money right this moment. I'm not a person that do hair or anything or nails or something like that. So I was like, okay, well, this is what I can do. I'll start to scale back on certain things. But the light at the end of the tunnel is my daycare for the kid was $600. Now I was negative 500. So in 6 months, guess who was about to start public school? The kid. So in 6 months, all I had to do was keep fighting because I already fought all those other months. So I just
Yeah.
had to keep fighting. And guess what? I became that clear of that 500. The beautiful part about it is once I got that spanking, I did not need that spanking anymore. Now some people need it again, but I didn't need that spanking
I'm
anymore.
just laughing when you say once I got that spanking, that was it.
Uh, that
That
was
sound
it.
like a kid doing something wrong. Once you spank them, they look at I'm not doing that
I'm
again.
doing no more. I ain't touching that. Nope.
Hey,
Nope.
I got something for you right here. I got a young lady that I have a show with every Wednesday, Coach K.
Okay.
She's listened to you, and she
Mhm.
put this out. She would love to have you as a panelist on their financial literacy panel coming up
Awesome.
the fourth annual Want to Go Fit Wellness Fair. That's happening January 31st.
Oh, I would
If
love to.
if you are available for that, I will give you send me your number and I'll send it to her. We'll get y'all hooked up and all that stuff. But yeah, she's like what you're saying.
Yes, yes, yes. I would love that. This is just a blessing. I'm so happy that you're even allowing me on your platform to talk about this.
Hey, you know what? This is what this platform is for. We're networking right now and don't even know that we're networking. That's the
Yes,
beauty of it. So I want to
yes.
switch gears. we don't talk about finance. Now we bring this young man in. Because I heard some good stories about this young man right here, the things that he's doing, and what you have on right now with the tie and everything. I think that is appropriate for any job interview or anything. I've been wearing things like that for years, but I didn't know that. Can you tell the audience what is that called
It's called a quarter zip,
and
quarter
what?
zip, and a tie, and a button-up shirt. There you go.
And that's professional right there to me in my eyes, right there. So, what is this trend all about?
Quarter zip trend is basically showing you are showing your like showing that you're proper, showing you're professional around people, showing that you can hold yourself up, you take care of yourself, you want to look nice and be approachable to people. Especially like if I'm approaching up to somebody talking about business, I don't want to look no type of way. I want to look professional in their eyes, showing that I'm worthy of talking to. And so that's
Okay.
what the quantitative trend is. And it's just another form of way of like, if you don't want to wear a suit, you can at least have another way to look professional and at least more comfortable.
Oh, good, good. So with that look right there, I'm going out for job interviews and stuff. I think that'd be the perfect look to look. Now, this is old cliche what I'm getting ready to say. When I went out for a job interview, you have on the right deal, a white shirt with a black tie. You can wear any color tie. But what I'm getting at is I found out a lot of people you go for an interview, they don't like color shirts. They don't like the dark blue, the green. They want a white shirt. I don't know why, but that's what they want. And so I instruct everybody to get a power tie. A power tie is usually a red tie with sequins or something in it, not an orange tie. But for some reason, the red ties, the different designs on the red tie, is a power tie for most men, but with a white shirt. And but I applaud you for doing that and dress up like this because we can't get our youngsters to put on a tie. They don't even know what a tie is, you know. And for you to take the step in doing that. So what you're doing right now, you set your own style. This is your style. When people see you, they gonna know you right there. That's your style. And believe it or not, you're gonna make yourself a trendsetter too. That's another thing you gotta look at.
Tell
So
him how people receive you. He went to the dentist. He went to the dentist. Um, and so tell him what happened.
So I went to the dentist
By himself.
by myself. My mom told me the appointment time, told me, what time I should leave out early, to get there on time. You always got to be there on time, not late, because that shows a good representation and make a good connection between you and your person that you're making an appointment with, saying that you can be on time and that you know your time management well. And so, when I got there, I sat down in the chair, looking nice and proper. The lady come in like, "Oh, hello. Ooh, you look nice today. I like your quarter zip. I like your tie. I like how you put well together." I was like, "Thank you, thank you, thank you." And she's like, "Well, why you dressed up like this? Like, what got you into this?" I was just like, "I just want to be professional. I want to look professional. I want to show like I'm professional. I want to show that I want to be better than other people, per se." So yeah. And she was just loving my outfit and she was loving how I was talking proper and how I kept myself clean and how I kept my tone and just talking overall just proper. So
you said a key word right there, tone. Blacks are known to use a deeper tone than anybody else because
that's true.
that's something that is passed down from one generation to another generation. It isn't like you want to be heard. Some of us speak like my wife tell me, "Baby, your voice just projects." I'm sorry, this is how I am. She said, "You don't need a microphone. Your voice just projects." And I mean, I call it a gift, but we get tied in with that. Oh, it was the tone of your voice that turned me off. So take my voice out of the equation what do I look like now? Look like somebody we can hire, then go ahead and hire me. Don't let that tone of voice fool you. I know what I'm doing, because so many people take our tone and use that as negative against us. That's just how we are. I mean, I'm sorry. That's just how it is. And I look at it like that. Now, how old are you again, young man?
I'm 18.
18. Now, when I'm gonna go back, somebody came up to me and said, "You retired?" I said, "Yeah." "You sure retired young." I said, "What do you mean by that? You can't be no older than 55." I said, "Huh?" I said, "Okay, sit down. Let me educate you. Sit down." I said, "I am 70 years old." And they sat down, looked at me, and they said, "You kidding me?" I said, "No. You don't carry yourself as you 70." I said, "How am I supposed to act? Tell me how I'm supposed to act. I got 6 grandkids to keep me young. I'm on the floor down there playing with them. I'm having fun, what I'm
Yeah.
doing." So age, like we always say, is just another number. Either you can or you can't. You're 18, but you're carrying yourself more mature than I know 18-year-olds. I don't see that silliness or all that going on. I see seriousness going on in you, and what you're serious about what you're doing and what you want to do. And that I could say, Mom, is okay to say that he's got an old soul.
Nah, that's a mama.
You
Got a
got
mama.
Mama, okay.
Got a
Well,
mama.
well,
Got a tough mama.
well, that's where that old soul came from. It came
Yeah.
from Mama.
That mama.
Yeah.
But that's unique to see that. This young man, he's ready to go into business, and I can see him being his own CEO and everything. I can see him starting his own business, doing everything himself, because he's got the determination, and he got Mama too. Cause Mama already let him know how to use his money, and she ain't gonna. I tell you what, I don't think your mama gonna let you do anything crazy with your money, cause she's gonna come to you and say, "Why'd you do that? Why'd
That
you come to
part.
me first?" And not saying that you like this. I'm gonna say this, and most young men say, "Well, I'm grown. You can't tell me anything." And what's that old saying? "I brought you in this world. I could take you out." Just jokingly with that. But for you to really listen to your mom on the financial part of it, that's not a gift. That is, what your mom went through. You've seen your mom struggle. Your mom don't want you to do the same thing that she did. She wants you to be better in what you're doing. That's why she's doing those things for you. And I can see that you listen to what she have to say. And I applaud you for that.
Yeah, I'm definitely grateful for my mom. Just overall being grateful. She birthed me. That's grateful enough. I won't lie. I did have some times where it's like, this is too much. I don't do all this. Being a little too straight. This is my money. I said it's my money. I'm grown now, stuff like that. But it's also took some time. Not gonna lie, it took some time to fully understand. Like, okay, I'm seeing the money come out. Now I see a lot of money come in, and then I'm seeing like, oh, I want this and this and that, and then I can't get it, and I'm starting to notice the change of like I'm waiting for Black Friday or I'm waiting for deals to come up. Then I'm like, okay, if I got the money now, I can buy it, and then I'll that's I at least have the money I can spend for that. And so I'm just grateful for her to teach me this. And it definitely is a process for younger people like me. It's a mental process, a mind process of definitely just listening. It just it'd be the
Yeah.
first thing. If you want to take one thing in, just listen. That's the first thing you can do, and it just helps you evolve from there. Because you listen, now you're taking notes, now you're asking questions, and now you put it all together. Now you formulate a whole essay with the information you got. So yeah,
Yeah,
thank
that's
you,
good.
Mom.
Let's see, I'm a electrician by trade. And I went to trade school for that. I got my license and everything, and I still do it to this day. I keep my license current because people always calling me, "Hey, Ron, I got this problem going on." I go over there, I look at it, but I don't do it. I help out friends and stuff. So
Yes,
if I gave you a laundry list of everything that I did, you probably say, "What?" Because I did that heating and air conditioning. I got 8 Microsoft certifications. I did a lot of stuff. That's just a tip of the iceberg of stuff that I do. But it's just, I was brought up in the era, whatever it took to put food on the table. That's what you did. Okay, one year, there wasn't no money in electrical work, so I went towards heating and air conditioning. So I started doing that. That faded out. I went and got my Microsoft certifications. Whatever it took to put food on the table to pay bills, I went out and did. So I'm old school in that direction. But comes to my kids, let me tell you what them three told me. Dad, I'm not working hard like you. I'm gonna do something else. I got one in banking, I got one in medical, and I have one that's in the corporate office, and
Mhm.
they're making good money. But they told me they weren't gonna work hard like me.
Yes.
I didn't look at it as hard because I brought them with me to work because I want them to know what hard work was, and I
Mhm.
brought them with me, and they said, Dad, how can you do this from sun up to sundown? It was just embedded in me to do that. But I'm glad they took another route, because they seen where hard work was, and it was
Yes.
not easy. And I was a single parent, so doing hard work like that, and I brought them with me. Come on, we're going to work. And my son said, Dad, what time you quitting? When I get tired. When is that? When I get tired. We get there at 7 in the morning. We leave about 8 at night.
Wow.
And he could not see how can I work over 12 hours a day. Being an
Yes.
entrepreneur, raising a family, paying bills and all that
Yes.
stuff, you had, just like you said, you had to do what you had to do to take care of things. So, ooh. But so if you go into business, what would you go in? What would you do?
Um, right now I do more of the business wise, like AI, working on AI coding, coding. AI is definitely one of the top markets in the game with advertisement, design, let alone just AI assistant, having your own personal assistant, it's not a real person, and just having it online with you. That's definitely one. Yeah, that's my probably go to. Or into trade. The trade is definitely going to be, I said, higher. It's getting more popular in the market because AI is not going to be taking over it, like HVAC.
Right.
Mechanic wise, or just well, mechanic wise, yeah, but like HVAC, plumbing, building houses. That's still going to be far as human hands and human work, and for another 30 to 45 years, right? So that's definitely what I want to get into. And yeah.
You
Tell them
know,
what you already do.
What I already do is coding. I do coding and marketing. I learn how to code. I know how to use AI pretty well. I know how to, make AI. And
Do
and
websites,
websites, business
logos.
cards. So yeah.
oh,
He's on
cool.
Fiverr already.
I made a website. I made two websites for my school already.
He
Um,
created my website.
so yeah.
Okay, wow. See, I embrace AI. I'm doing AI right now. A lot of people are scared of it. But you said
Mhm.
something. You said something. I like what you said, young man. Is I'm gonna put it like this: AI is taking over white collar jobs, but they're not taking over trades because you got to have manual labor to do those trades, and the money is there. So blue collar is actually rising on up because the white collar AI is really taking over a lot of jobs right now. But you gotta have somebody to feed that AI to know what's going on, and that's when they pick and pull. All right, we're shutting down. Out of 50 jobs, 20 of y'all not gonna have a job. Basically,
Mhm.
that's what they're saying. The other
Mhm.
one, y'all, we're gonna give you a chance to learn this AI, and
Yes.
out of those right there to learn it, I may keep 10. So you can
Mhm.
see the white collar jobs are coming down because of AI, because they're scared to death of AI taking over. It's too late. It's already doing that. Because
Already done.
when I do the AI that I use for everything, it knows me already. So I basically had to teach it everything that I do. So when I get
Mhm.
up in the morning, the first thing I say, okay, what is my script for today? I type in Monday morning, write me a script. It knows everything I did and it knows what's over with. This is not there. It spits out everything for me. except for my boring jokes. It spits out the same jokes all the time. But most of that, a lot of people are scared to embrace AI because they call it the devil. That's what they're calling it. They say it's the devil. It's taking over our jobs. Well, you said that about everything that came up, everything that new
Yes.
that came up that's trending. Oh, it's not going to work. It's not going. AI is not going away.
Nope.
It's not going away at all. Face it. If you got cars driving you places but no driver sitting there, Lord have mercy on that one. But you
We're
hit
gonna
something
go
right there when
crazy.
you said that the trade, and you're right. I advise people in South Texas when they ask me what's a good job for me to go into. I say take up heating and air conditioning.
Mm-hmm.
You never go wrong like in South Texas. It's always going to be hot, and
Yes.
you find a job that's going to be in need, and that's one of the few right there that's in need besides nurses. That is one of the top-notch jobs right now that I feel in Texas is HVAC,
Mhm.
and
Yes.
I feel anybody need to get into HVAC. So I
Yes.
love how you
Yes.
brought that up, young man.
And since we're on that topic, I just would like to take this moment to, I'm currently a career coach at Project Quest. And with Project Quest, with any of our San Antonian, you can qualify for, if you're going into a nursing program, like for your BSN or RNs and LVNs, we can help you pay up to $12,300. And that's going on to questsa.org. If you're going for any of these HVACs or CDLs or plumbing, we also help up to $5,000, $6,000 up for that. So we can help you get those
Wow.
certifications. Project Quest have been involved, have been in existence for over 33 years. Awesome team. Again, questsa.org. The reason why I'm here, of course, Empower Hub, my financial literacy summit, all the things, but all this ties into us not being a gatekeeper and sharing information. A lot of us need to, I wish I would have known of them before I even went and worked for them. So, because they can help you with your HR certification. I cover the financing, bookkeeping, and so forth. So I want to share
Wow.
that out to the community. This is right here in your seat, in your backyard, is where you can get assistance. So we help with your associate's degree, 6,600, and up to your bachelor's degree, 12,300, and any certifications up to $6,000.
Wow. Can you do me a favor? After this call, can you send me all those resources? So when I edit this stuff, I'll make sure it's in the YouTube page and everything is there. And the young lady that wants you as a panelist, she sent me the information already. I will email that to you so y'all two can make contact. She does this 3 or 4 times a year. She has these events that she does, and she don't say this to too many people. You must did something to my coach right there, because she right away said, "Man, I gotta have her on my panel." And she is good people. She really is, and she's all about. We talk about the same thing, resources, and
Yes.
she has a lot of resources there at her events. I'm there all the time because I broadcast and do everything there. So I don't know what to say. I mean, all I can say is this right here. We got somebody congratulating you, saying to you and your son on building general wealth, and all the best to your financial literacy summit. So
Thank you.
we got people jumping on here left and right. I'm gonna have to have y'all on again. I love how everybody just jumped up on here.
Also, if I could take a minute and give everyone an idea of what the Financial Literacy Summit is going to do.
Yes.
So, with the Financial Literacy Summit, just imagine, remember game shows. So, again, if anybody know me, and as y'all get to know me, I love to have fun. I love to laugh. I'm a serious person too, but I just really feel like I just gotta, tomorrow's not promised. When you lose so many people in your life, you just realize that you want to at least live life and have a good time. So, however, with that being said, what's the best way to teach you financial literacy is through game shows. So just imagine Price is Right. We're going to be playing Price is Right, but we're going to be learning about high yield interest accounts, checking, savings. We're going to go from the beginning to the advanced. So if you're a beginner and don't even know how to save 100, don't even have a bank account, before you leave there, you will know how to get a bank account, knowing the difference between a credit union and a non-credit union, like a Chase Bank or a Frost Bank. I'm calling out anyone that knows Frost Banks or any of the bankers that I'm looking to get to be a table. I'm looking to connect with someone that can be from a bank or security services. So I would like Frost Bank. So this is my call out to Frost Bank. I would love y'all there. But if not, I'll get someone else. And then I have Bible Tech going to be there. So I'm gonna have a few tables there. Project Quest is going to be there as well. But for the main part, you're gonna walk in and you're gonna learn through playing different games. So it's going to be fun. It's interactive. It's on a Sunday right after you leave church and get a bite to eat. Bring the entire family. It's free. It is totally free. I'm accepting donors, and Power Hub is a nonprofit that just got started 2024 April, and we are 501(c), so any donations come our way, we will be able to get a tax write-off for that. So we are looking for donors. Our goal is to try to raise $2,000. Right now, I'm putting this all out my pocket because it is my passion, and it is
Yeah.
one way that I would like to educate and bring our way, kind of expose ourselves as Empower Hub to the community and all the different things that we do. Prior to working with as you see with my history with working with child protective services and then working with the refugee families, I just enjoy working with people. And so I enjoy educating them. And so this is the first way of, I think, that I know of educating and starting that conversation of financial literacy. And then you can tune in, which I'll drop the link. You can tune into my every excuse me, every third Tuesday of the month, financial literacies at 7 o'clock online courses. So we have that as well as additional information I'll send. But it's a free event. Please come out, show up. And he's calling out all the
All the quarter zip boys. Man.
so buy the auntie, uncles, parents, Christmas time, go out to Ross, Walmart, TJ Maxx. They have them everywhere. These quarters that they're as low as $9.99, $14.99. Bless your grandkids and your children with this, and let them show up and have a good time. And the youth, I love y'all. So I feel like I'm just so much younger, like y'all. Like I feel like I'm just as young as y'all. So we're gonna have a good time. We're gonna have music, and you're just coming ready to have some fun,
All
fun and
right.
learn. You're gonna walk away definitely knowing more than you came in knowing.
Well, I'm gonna reach out to you. Say, send me all that information, and maybe we could partner up and do something. Let's go ahead and do that, and let's keep the lines open between us, and let's not wait till after all that barbecue that we missed.
Yes.
I appreciate you reaching out, and wow, you have a lot going on, and I appreciate that. And I'm gonna send you all the information this young lady sent me, so y'all could talk to each other and get everything set up. And so, I appreciate your time today for coming on the show and enlightening us on. We got more going on in San Antonio than what we think.
Oh yes. Oh
Yeah,
yes.
and I appreciate it. All right, y'all take care. Thank you for coming
Thank
on the
you.
show, and we'll catch you
Thank you so much.
very soon.
All right. Take
Okay.
care.
All right. Okay. Bye.
Recording stopped.
All right, everybody. That's what we have right here, and I tell you what, that was a treat right there. I don't care anybody say that was a treat. All right, this is DJ Ron G on WSAN Radio. As we always say, peace and chicken grease. I am out and will catch you tomorrow morning straight up, 7 o'clock.